Hello, welcome. I'm Cyndi. This is Bioflow Yoga. I'm so glad that you're tuning in and that you have an interest in this. Let me just explain a little bit about what Bioflow Yoga is. Bio means life, flow means flow, movement with this seamlessness. So we're going to string some movements together with some breathing. We're going to integrate Qigong, yoga, and Pilates. And I'll be guiding you through this with a few options for different levels of flexibility, strength, and endurance. And what we'll do is begin by just creating, make sure your space is supportive for you with the yoga mat is one thing you'll need. You might also like to have a strap that could come in handy, or a block if you're typically someone who uses blocks and straps for your yoga. And I have also a bolster here for as we get down to the floor. That might also be something that you'd like to have to support you. So again, it's your practice. Collect the things and gather them that you would like to have for making yourself comfortable. Let's stand with our feet together in ready stance. And taking a moment to close the eyes if that's comfortable for you. And noticing how there's an internal movement that we have to adapt to. We feel our body adapting as we close our eyes, and this internal movement forces the musculature of our body to shift and change in order to not fall over. And we can start there by appreciating our body's intelligence and sensitivity to keeping us upright, to keeping us on this vertical plane. Good. And then as you're ready, go ahead and open your eyes. We'll bend the knees, keeping them together. Bend the knees, sink a little bit. Good. Bring the hands up with the wrist kind of floating up like they're being lifted by strings. Let the hands dangle with the fingers heavy. Good. And then putting the weight onto the leg closest to, we'll call it the brown pillows. Go ahead and lift the leg closest to the white couch, and then step and separating those feet about hip width apart. We're going to find more solid ground here as we distribute our weight evenly over both legs, sinking and imagining roots sinking down through the feet into the earth. Feeling the stability in the legs like the roots of your tree. Good. Imagining the torso being the trunk of your tree and the arms being the branches. Let's let the arm branch up and overhead, and imagine gathering resources in the form of energy and pulling it down through the center of the body, through the spine, down through the trunk of the tree, sending it into the roots. Good. We might be referring to that analogy throughout the class, so I want you to have that in your awareness and in your imagination. Now let's shift our weight into the leg closest to the couch and pick up the heel of the opposite leg, slide the toe back, and create little circles with the ankle. We're doing a pretty basic warm-up, a Qigong warm-up here to begin. Reverse direction. Feel the movement in the rotation happening in that ankle, a little bit in the knee and the hip as well. And then to stretch the fascia of the top of the foot, let's tuck the toes under, and if it feels okay, sink a little back into that leg and feel a nice stretch on the top of the foot. And then lifting the knee, balancing for a moment on the standing leg. Good. And take the hand with that knee lifted, bring the hand up and across, and as you extend the arm out to the side, extend the leg, and place your weight into the leg closest to the brown pillows. Good. Shifting the weight. Good. And let's pull up on the heel. Good. Sink back with the toe and create those circles again. And do what feels good here for you, for your flexibility, for your mobility. So we're doing a gentle challenge for the balance as we warm up, noticing that you might be more aware of your core here. Tuck the toes under, sink a little bit down, feel the pressure on the top of the foot, adding to a stretch in the fascia on that side. Good. Sometimes that's too uncomfortable, so you don't have to push too far. Just sink a little in the standing leg. Good. And imagine scooping up resources in the form of energy. And as you push out, go ahead and resettle the weight into that leg. And we're going to continue to shift our weight from side to side. And as we shift our weight in one direction, let the arms raise in the other direction to balance things out. Nice. So the hips are moving, and in response, the arms are swinging. Notice the gaze swinging in the direction of the arms, adding a little bit of a movement into the upper cervical. Good. Keep the gaze flowing. We're going to do this 2 more times, and then adding some circles with the hips. Bring the hands back to the center and onto the hips, and then circling those hips in either direction. Whatever direction you naturally went in is perfect. Hips back, to the side, forward, feeling that pelvic tilt. Pausing as you go back, reversing direction, and moving slowly through the range of motion here. Just feeling into what's here to be felt through sensation. Communication back from the body to the awareness through sensation. Good, and then pausing here, we're going to add these 2 pieces together. Shifting the weight to one side, let the arms raise in the opposite direction, and shift your hips back as your arms come forward. Good. Hip shift to the opposite side of the room, and the arms do the same. Come back to the beginning, and again, shift, and then reach forward, and come back around. Good. So the same thing is happening with the hip circles. And the arms are simply following the opposite direction to balance that movement. Do 2 more. Yeah, it doesn't have to be too deep or too much of a reach. Now as we shift our weight to the direction of the pillows, we let the arms come the opposite way. And again, same thing, opposite direction. Warming everything up, getting everything to work together. The roots, the torso, the trunk, and the branches of our tree. Circulating energy, blood flow, awareness, and attention through the upper and lower body as they work in opposing directions to create this balance, this harmony, like we do in yoga. Yoga means union, basically yoking together the opposite polarities of yin and yang. Body and mind come back to the center. Bring the hands together, interlace the fingers, and roll those forearms together as you rotate the wrists. Start moving our warm up into the arms and the hands, reverse direction. And press down, stretch those fingers. Sink into the hips, keep the knees over the ankles, press the arms forward. That's the way. And then pressing up, slowly pushing through the roots of the tree, sending energy down into the earth through the legs as the branches of the arms reach out. Good, draw the hands back down. Good, take the hand closest to the brown pillows and lift it with the opposite hand up to the heart. Good, and then pressing out from the heart, we're gonna pull back on those fingers and stretch the wrist. There we go. And then bring that elbow back to scrub the rib and press forward with the finger into the opposite hand, stretching the underside of the wrist. Scoop back, fingertips point up to heaven, same thing. Forward, stretch the wrist, and this time bring the hand back, getting a nice tricep stretch here. Hook those fingers, pull that elbow back. Good, here's what the fingers look like. Little hook there. Get straighten both legs, and let's take it into a side bend here. Dropping the arm, press down, opposite arm presses up, Good. And then we come forward with the hands, bringing them into the center, in front of the spine. Come down, 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 catch a ball in front of the navel. Good. Turn it and expand it out. Inhale and exhale. Good. Inhale. This time as we exhale, we're going to scoot down a little deeper. Reach down a little deeper. Good. Take the hand closest to the couch and lift it with the opposite hand. Come up to the heart. Good. From there, push out with the hand. Stretch the top of the wrist. Bring the elbow back. Keep it close to the rib cage. Point the fingers down to the earth. Push the wrist forward towards me. Draw back with the opposite fingers. Again, elbow back, scoot back. Fingers reach towards heaven now. Wrist reaches towards earth. Come forward. Good. Keep coming at me. Bring the hand up and over the head. Good. Curl the fingers. Clasp them. Take that elbow back and down. Stretch the tricep. Good. Shift the weight. Come into a side bend. Separate the hands. Push in both directions. Come to the center. Catch that ball. Imagine compressing energy in front of the spine, creating some tension there. We'll do that again. As you inhale, stretch the hands apart. Imagine breathing inside the spine. And exhale, compress the breath. Two more like that. Inhale, you want to imagine breathing inside the spine and seeing the breath stretch across the spine. And compress, squeeze, contract, turn the ball over in a horizontal position, stretch the arms out, expansion and mobilization on the inhale. Good, stabilization and contraction on the exhale. Squeeze, tighten, tighten, squeeze and inhale. Relax. Good. This time, bring the elbows in, curling the fingers in, create fists. Tuck your head, squeeze, 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 tighten everything up. And inhale, rise up into spinal breathing, opening up the front of the spine. Good. Create those goal-post arms. And then exhale, curling inward, tightening everything up. Really imagine flushing all the blood flow out of the muscles. Then inhale, rise up, create space. See the muscles like sponges receiving that flow back in, the nutritious flow. Extend the arms out to the side and bring them down. Good. Now shake your hands. Bend your knees and do a little shaking here. We're going to just shake in any way that feels good. This is called spontaneous movement. It doesn't have to look like the way I'm doing it. It just has to feel good. And we want to imagine we're shaking off stress, anything that is just hanging there that didn't get kind of touched by the movement we created that was more structured. We're going to get out of structure and just create some freedom to play. Good, that was perfect. Now dry your arms overhead. And as your hands come down in front of the spine, we're going to let the hand closest to those brown pillows come close to the face. And as we bring the elbows in, the palms are up in front. And then we'll turn the palms down. Good, and the hand that's on top is going to reach straight. And the hand that was on the bottom is going to pull. So we're in what would be considered a horse stance. You may want to move your feet a little wider apart or a little closer, your choice. So we're sinking into the knees. The toes aren't turning out, maybe slightly, but we don't have anything turned more than the other side. So with the arm that's extended, we want to create what's called tiger claw hand. So this is the Qigong aspect. And with tiger claw hand, we want to create, like we're holding a brick between the thumb and the first finger, and the other fingers are curled. And this opposite hand is pulling back like on a bow. Okay, we're looking out in the direction of the extended arm. Good. Now we'll extend the opposite arm back. We have both arms extended, and shift our weight in legs so we can pick up the toes of the forward leg. Go in the direction of the tiger claw. Sink the legs into warrior and bring the arms into warrior. So we're now in a warrior 2. I'm going to look down at the knee, make sure we have good alignment from the knee to the ankle. Shoulders are relaxed, they're not up by the ears. Roll them back and down. Looking in the direction of the extended arm. Good. Take a couple more breaths here. Feel into the legs. Very good. We're going to be bringing energy to the legs. This is going to be a challenging aspect of our hour together is the stamina of the legs. So at any time you need to, you can come out of the line. Good. From here, let that hand scoop down, the arm that's forward, scoop down and underneath the spine as the opposite arm comes up and over. And again, creating a nice channel of energy down the front of the spine. Compress. That's your exhale. And then inhale. Feel the energy rising up. Feel the breath expanding into the spine, and exhale, sink. Try to keep your leg position stabilized, moving just the arms. If you want to, you can come out of the lunge as you inhale. Sink back in as you exhale. Good. Keep exhaling, keep exhaling. Bring the hand underneath up the front of the spine. Opposite now. We're going to take the hand that's closest to earth up to heaven, and the hand that's closest to heaven down to earth. And then we're going to reach around, create a big circle. We create lots of circles in Qigong. Let your forearm rest on the thigh, and we'll come into extended angle. Good. Feel the reach from the outside of the foot up into the fingertips. And let's roll through the wrist here. Good. Reverse direction. And let the hand come down towards the floor. Place the hand in a position that supports you here as you come into a lunge. Hold the lunge now. Breathe. Make sure your alignment is good. You can modify your lunge by bringing your knee to the floor at any moment if you need to. Good. Let's rotate the spine for those who want to. Go to next level. Extend the arm. Closest to those brown pillows, if you will. For me, it's the right side. Taking a good guess that it might be your right side too. And then rotate the wrist. Reverse direction. And let the hand come back down into your lunge. Square those hips. Good. And step back to plank. Now from plank, you can drop your knees and sit back in child. That would be one option, probably option 1. Another option is to stay in plank and slowly come down chaturanga and hold chaturanga for a breath. Good. And then from here, go ahead and point the toes, lower the pelvis, bring the hands out just about the width of the mat apart. And then use your core strength, pull your navel to your spine, use your low back strength to rise up, peel the spine off the mat, one vertebrae at a time. And sink back down. Good, work the breath. Separate your hands a little wider. Inhale, rise using the core strength. Try not to use your upper body strength here. Exhale, sink. One more time, arms even wider. Good, on those fingertips so you're not using your upper body strength. Lift through the core. Good, and exhale, lower. Very good, reach the arms back next to the side. Now on an inhale, slide the backs of the hands up to the front of the mat and come up and onto the knees. Good. We'll take a sit back into those heels in our child pose just to release that lumbar spine, and then rise onto all fours. Good. Creating some undulations in the spine. So that could be cat and cow, as I'm demonstrating. Or it can be a C-shaped spine, head and tail towards each other, left and right. Or it could be circling the hips and shoulders and creating a S shape throughout the spine. And do it in both directions. Really get a feel for bringing some freedom and liberation to the spine not the spine itself, but the energy that wants to flow through the spine. And then tuck those toes under, sit back in your child one more time to release that low back. And then rising up into a downward facing dog. And we'll pedal out those heels. Always feels so great to do that. And we're going to take a little bit of a different angle on this downward dog here. Go into your full version of down dog, or stay in child if you're modifying. And for those that want to, go ahead and lift the heels. Bend the knees, but keep them glued together. So the knees are glued together and they're bent. And now swing them towards me. And keeping the knees glued together, straighten the legs and press the heels to the floor. Good, you're gonna feel a nice stretch here. Keep working into the length. Now go ahead, bend the knees again. Point them directly down to the floor. You're on the pads of the feet. And then straighten the legs, release the heels to the floor, looking back at your feet. We'll do the same thing other side. So the knees are bending towards the floor. They're glued together and they're swinging together away from me. And then you're pressing the heels to the floor as you straighten the legs and push through the arms, reaching the gaze back to the feet. Good, I get a nice stretch here. On the side body, bend the knees. Come back and sink back into your downward dog. Very good. Good, so with the leg furthest away from me, lift that up. Rotate the ankle. Reverse direction. Now draw that knee into the chest, come into your lunge. Good, for those that are modifying, you just come right onto those knees and then modify and slide that foot through into a lunge. We'll take that back knee to the floor and rock back and forth here. If you need a little extra padding for the knee, you can double up your mat. Or some of you might have a towel or a pillow around. You can do that as well. Put it under the knee. And now come back into our lunge. Either on the knee or full lunge. Reaching the arms around, gathering again that circular energy. And we're drawing it up the front leg. Slowly pulling up. Use your core strength. Stabilize. Keep drawing energy up the front of the body, over the head. Now sink into your lunge, extend your arms out to the sides. Good, and then slowly without pausing, let the arms come down and behind the back, interlacing the fingers. Draw the shoulders back, lift the heart up, look up. Stay in your lunge or modify and come out if it's too much for the legs. Good. Feel a nice opening in the heart here. Imagine the circulation of the heart flowing through the arms. Good, and a humble warrior bowing forward, bringing that open heart to the earth. Good, bowing. Let the length of the spine reach through the crown of the head and release the arms, separate the hands, and let them slowly return to earth with the weight of the arms, gravity pulling them down. And then inhale, begin to rise. Good. And keep your warrior arm forward. Draw a big circle over the head. Come to warrior 2 again. That's right. Now scooping palm up. We're reversing this warrior. Gazing up. Reaching back. Let the backhand rest on the leg if you'd like. And then let that backhand come up, drawing that energy along the front of the spine again. Squeeze and compress. Good. And inhale and exhale. Either stay in your lunge or give your leg a break as you inhale and exhale. Good. Choose whichever variety or option works for you. Come up, make up your own too. Yeah, don't be shy. Be creative. Bring your lower hand up the front of the spine and your bottom hand down. And as we come up, we're going to take the toes, lift them off the mat, pivot on the heel, Keep bringing the arm up, come up onto the toes, swing the heel back, and we're moving in the opposite direction. Good. From here, we'll tip the pelvis, right? So rather than reaching the shoulder, we tip the pelvis and let that spine spill out of that pelvic bowl as we reach in this direction for our triangle. Good. Hold here without collapsing. Feel muscles around the obliques support your upper body weight. Good. Feel the legs and the foundation and strength of your roots holding you up. There we go. And then begin to find a horizontal plane, shifting to vertical as we extend the arms between heaven and earth, looking upright. Roll through that wrist. Good, in reverse direction there. Yes. Now if it feels okay on your shoulder, we'll bring the arm across. Good. Imagine you're leaning up against an imaginary wall. You can always modify this. Just keep the arm where it was. And then we're finding the floor as we square the hips. Place one hand on either side of that forward leg. Pivot on the back foot and step that back foot in a little bit here. As we do so, we're squaring the hips. We're turning a little bit towards that extended leg and drawing the head down. We're going to add a little bit of movement here to generate some activity in the legs. The first movement will be to rock back into the back leg and lift the toes of the front leg. And the second part of that movement is to rock into the forward foot, pick up the back heel all the way onto that toe, curl the toes under, and get another stretch for the top of the foot as we bend that back knee. Good. Trial and error. If it doesn't work for you, don't do it. Good. Same thing again. Rock back, pick up the toes of the front foot. Rock forward, stretch the top of the back foot. One more just like that. Find the breath that works here, the rhythm of breathing that works here for you. Bend and straighten. Good. Let's hold this nice forward fold here, letting the energy of our spine decompress here and find greater flow through this inversion. Feeling our core support us, so we're not tipping over. We're bending the knee and resting our chest on our thigh if we need to modify. And then we'll gather energy again from in front, from the earth, and draw it up. Draw it up the leg. Draw it up over the head. Interlace the fingers behind the head. Lean back, stretching the front body. Good. Shifting the weight into the back leg. Turn the toes forward on the front leg. Shift the weight into that leg and then turn the toes forward so we're in a nice parallel position where we started. Good. Sinking down into the hips, sinking down into the knees. Push the arms away. Push. Good. Draw the arms forward. Cross the arms, bring them up over the shoulders. Slide the hands down the arms to the lower abdominal. Good. And circle around the navel. Good. I hope that you're feeling the energy now and the heat in the navel. Good. Let's do some spirit packing here. As we take the hands, we're lifting up. We're going to go ahead and shift the weight into the leg we were just working. And then pick up the toes to the opposite leg. And then reach in that direction. Imagine reaching down into the earth and grabbing a seed and pulling it up. Pulling it up to the third eye or the middle of the forehead. Turning back to the center. Bottom hand palmed up, ready to catch that seed as it's blessed by heaven above. Pull it down. The further down it comes, the closer to earth it gets, the heavier it gets, and it lands. Good, and we pull it up. and around and down the back of the legs, seeding our spirit into the earth. Now bring the fingers up the inside of the legs. Good. We're going to catch those hands. Shift the weight in the direction of those brown pillows. Turn the toes. Push the hands down. Reach that hand closest to me down into the earth. Grab it into the deep dirt, fertile soil of the earth. Pull up a seed. Good, a seed that represents an idea from your spirit. Let it be blessed by heaven and bring it back, packing that spirit into earth in the lower dantian. And bring it around the navel, around into the kidneys. Give it that life force energy it needs. Back and down the legs. Wrap it around. And up the inside. Backs of the hands together. Big circle around the body. You're doing great. Bringing the hands out in front, crossing the hand closest to the couch in front. Turn the palms over. Sink into your horse stance. Now extend the arm closest to the couch out. Pull back on the bow. Create your tiger claw with the first finger, index finger and thumb. Imagine holding a brick about the width of a brick. Other fingers curl. We're pulling back on that bow. We're sinking into the legs, into the roots. We're strong, we're focused. Good. And then as we press back, extend that arm back, we're sinking into that leg, picking up the toes of our forward leg for our warrior two. We find a shift into the weighting of that forward leg. Palms facing down in our warrior stance, focusing over the fingertips. Good, stay with the breathing. You got this, 2 more breaths here. Feel the legs, feel the energy in the legs. These standing poses are excellent for creating energy in the legs. Good, we'll scoop down into the earth, draw up into heaven, and bring those two together, bringing heaven and earth together along the spine. Compressing, compressing, feeling maybe something in the hands, a little energy tingling. And then inhale, breathe. And exhale, press. Imagine seeing the breath inside the spine, expanding as you inhale, just like your lungs. Compressing as you exhale, collapsing. Now draw that bottom hand up, keep exhaling, keep exhaling, keep exhaling. Big circle around into extended angle. Adjusting the position as you need to. Lean into that wall behind you, imagine it. Create those circles in the wrists. Yes, reverse direction. See energy being freed up all the way through the arm, and then take the hand to the floor, to the inside of that foot. Square the hips, find your lunge. And for those who want it, take that opposite arm up into a twist, gazing upward, and roll through that wrist again. There we go. Oh, that feels good. For some reason today, that feels so good. Awesome. Now bring that hand back down. Make your choice. Some of you want to, actually, there's a little bit extra challenge if you want it. You can step back with that forward leg and find side plank. Otherwise, just step back into plank and then choose whether you want to come down on the knees and into child. You want to hold plank and challenge your core. Challenge your core, lift your navel to your spine, keep your core strong, support your back, come down in plank to chaturanga and hold, hover, hold, and exhale, lower. That's the way. Hands come out shoulder width or a little wider. Let's go width of the mat with this. And then rising up, inhale, lengthen the spine and lift. Exhale, lower. Good, let gravity take you back to earth. Bring the hands a little wider and lifting. Let the breath fill the lungs. Feel the rising up, but use the low back and the core to do the work. Let your upper body relax. Spread your hands a little wider without any effort on the upper body. Feel the chest and heart rise up off the earth and sink back down. Let your arms come next to your sides. Good. Now slide the backs of the hands forward. Get a little stretch in the wrist here. You can feel it. Elbows are flaring out. Good. Keep stretching the tops of the hands and the backs of the wrists as you bring the hands forward. And then let the fingers turn over and come back next to the shoulders. Rising up, elbows next to the ribs. And into your child pose to release that lumbar spine. Direct your breath into your low back. That's the way. Feel the spaciousness now. Relieving any compression that we might have generated in the lumbar spine. Rise up onto your hands and knees and go into your spontaneous movement with the spine. It can be alternating between cat and cow. Good. Another variation can be C-shaped spine to the right and to the left, getting more of a side bend in the spine. Always beneficial. And then maybe a variation of that through some kind of a spontaneous undulation of the spine. Good. Now we'll tuck our toes under, prepare to go into our downward facing dog. So those that want to, you can just stay right in your child pose. If downward dog isn't in the field for you today, maybe energetically it's just not going to happen today, and that's okay. Come back to it any other time. Child pose can be so nurturing. Good. Stay here with your downward dog and then pedal out the heels, just getting a little more awareness into the lower part of the leg. Good. And we'll do the same sequence we did before, bending the knees and glue those knees together. Swing those knees towards me. Good. And push the heels into the earth. So it's like your feet are almost stacked. Straightening the legs and feeling a nice side body stretch. And then bend the knees. Twist onto the pads of the feet. Straighten the legs. Return to downward dog. And one more time in the opposite direction. Bend the knees. Squeeze them together. Turn them away from me. Good. Your heels are still lifted. You're turning on the pads of the feet, and then straighten the legs. Press the heels to the floor. Extend through the arms. Good. Feel that side body stretch. Bend the knees. Back and into your downward dog. Wonderful. Now we're lifting the leg furthest away from me, from the screen. Rotate through the ankle. Reverse direction. Good. You can do this if you're on all fours too. Just extend that leg and do the ankle rotations. And then when you're ready, bring that knee forward. You can hover here for a moment for a challenge, or just slide that foot through. Take as much time and adjusting as you need to get into a lunge here. And then draw up that back knee if you haven't already. We'll do a couple back and forth movements here, rocking forward and back. Feeling into the flexibility of the hamstring. Good. Now here comes the movement where we're challenging ourselves in terms of our strength, our flexibility, and our balance in motion. Palms of the hands up, elbows come back. Wrap the arms around, create a big circle out front, drawing energy up the leg. We're going to pop up. Bring the hands up and over the head. Behind the head. Now find your lunge again as you extend the arms out to the side, like you're pushing two walls away from you, claiming your space. Good. Feel the stability in your lower body. Draw the arms behind the back. Seamless movement. Interlace the fingers. Shoulders roll back. Heart lifts up. Inhale. Feel that chest expansion here. Good. Let that exhale. Release any inhibition from the mind about your capacity here as a warrior, staying focused. Now hinge forward and remain humble so we can claim that warrior side and also still simultaneously be humble. Now look down at the big toe. And when you're ready, release the arms and let gravity take the arms to the earth. Let them dangle for a moment under the shoulder here. And then begin to lift here now. Feel the back leg rooting into the earth as the arms extend forward. Now draw the arm up and over the head, finding our warrior two again. Staying focused, strong, committed. Rotate the palm up and then draw that circle again. This time the circle is being created from that front arm coming on top, bottom hand below, and again compress the life force energy into the spine. Pack it. And breathe, inhale and exhale. Good. Remember, you can come out of the lunge if you need to rest your legs as you inhale. Sink as you exhale. Good. Let's do one more breath like that. Inhale. Now exhale. And we're going to trade position with the hands. Let that earth energy rise, that heaven energy sink. And as you bring that hand up to heaven, you're coming up and shifting on the heel, turning the toes. Shifting on the heel, turning the toes, the other leg. Big circle with the arms, finding our position, or a triangle on this side. Remember not to reach with that upper body before you tilt with that pelvis. Good. Find the position that supports you here to tip the pelvis. You might need to shift the position of your legs a little closer. Do it, get your stability, and then build it. So the lower body is the foundation, and we build it from the bottom up. We want to hold this reach here so that we feel the strength of the legs really has us, has our upper body, right? Our root system can support us. Good. When we lean in any direction, our roots have us anchored into the earth. Now bring the arm up. Create a nice vertical line between heaven and earth, between the arms. Look up. Let's roll through that wrist again. Might as well, because it felt so good. Reverse. Good, and you can stay here with the arms. In fact, you could even come into a side angle here, resting your forearm on your thigh. Whatever is supportive for you, just adapt, be creative. And for those that want it, you can bring the arm across. Just using my mic. Sorry about all that, Mike. There we go. I think that'll work. Keep breathing, whatever we're experiencing, any kind of challenge, we still want to breathe. Good, things might not always work out as planned, but we can still keep our focus on the breath. Now turn and square the hips towards the floor. Good, here we go. Step that back foot in, shorten the distance between the feet here. We're creating that rocking motion. As we rock back, lift the toes and feel a little stretch into the Achilles tendon there. Good, in the calf. And then as we rock forward, we're lifting the back toes, maybe rolling onto the top of the foot and bending the knees, sinking into that back leg. That feels pretty good from here. I don't know about you. Do what works for you. We'll do 3 of these, alternating. Find a position here for a pyramid stretch. The hips are turning gently towards for me it's the right leg, the forward leg, in the direction of the forward leg. And then let that torso be heavy, closing the gap between the leg and the upper body. The spine is now in an inversion. Breathing, releasing and tending anything that's needing to come up can come up. Anything that's needing to ground into the earth can ground into the earth. We have both forces within us, a force of involution and evolution. Now gather that energy around, pull it up the front of the leg again. Notice how we come up nice and slow here, bringing the blood flow. It's accumulated in the head up, nice and slow. Returning to the heart, interlace the fingers behind the head, let the back of the head lean into the hands, let the elbows go wide, expand the chest, lift. Rock into that back leg, pick up the front toes as we did before, and then turn the pelvis, tip the toes towards me, and shift the other toes towards me as well. Find your position, sit back down in your hips, your knees go wide. So we sink and expand. Sink into the legs. Don't collapse into the knees. Sink and expand. So the knees are expanding out as we sink down. Let your arms come out to the side again. Push anything that's in the way, that's heavy. Good. And let the hands come down. Good. Now we'll take the hand, bring back up, shifting our way into the side we were working, turning, and we're going back for more seeds. Reach down into the earth, grab that delicate seed. It has a nice, delicate, energetic thread connecting to the earth. We draw it up slowly so we don't break that thread. Keep it connected to its roots, its origins. Bless it with the energy of heaven. Bring it down the center of the spine and pack it into the lower dantian. That's it. Pull the hands up and around the navel, into the kidneys. Lean into the support of the hands. Feel the warmth of the hands penetrating the kidneys. Lean forward and slide the hands down the back of the legs. Bend the knees, reach forward, gather, and tracing energy up the inside of the legs. Come on up. We'll do the other side. Shift. Reach. Draw. Caching seeds, spiritual seeds into the body, down the back of the legs. Reach around, gather. Draw up the inside of the legs, and we're going to trace the meridians. Just imagine breathing through every pore of the body. One more time down the back side of the body. And then turn the toes out and the heels, or excuse me, the toes in and the heels out. Bring your hands between your feet and let your head draw down. Crown of the head reaching towards the earth. Connecting the inspiration in the earth with the inspiration in the heaven, located in the upper dantian in the brain. Bend the knee closest to that white couch and into that side and get a nice side bend here. Good. If you want to, you can reach the hand to the opposite ankle and then do the same thing. Shift your weight. Take the hand towards the ankle. Good. Now taking the hand to the outside of the foot on this side closest to the brown pillows, we're going to turn and then step the feet together, coming to a forward fold. Let the crown of the head reach for the earth. Bend the knees, sitting back and down. Find a comfortable way to bring your spine into the mat. The knees can come into the chest as you do so. Good. Let's elevate the legs. Good. And roll through the ankles. Whatever feels good here. Do it in both directions. Draw those knees into the chest. Place the feet on the earth and then externally rotate the hips and bring the soles of the feet together. Let your arms extend out to the side with the palms up. Good, noticing what you feel. Let your feet, soles together, slide a little further away from the tailbone and feel the weight of the legs sink down into the earth again at a different degree, different angle. And do it again, extend the legs a little further away, feel the different angle. Stretch on the hips, and then slowly bring the knees together. Draw the arms overhead. Good. Hug the knees to the chest and reach the hands forward to touch the tops of the ankles. Bring the chin to the chest if you want that challenge. And then inhale, extend the arms and extend the legs away from the core. Exhale, wrap the arms around and tap those ankles. Again, inhale and exhale. One more. Inhale. You can keep your upper body on the floor here to do this as well. And exhale. Now extend your left leg. Keep your right knee into the chest. Right hand on the right ankle, left hand on the right knee. Bring your chin to your chest. Look up at your extended leg. And then alternating. Good. Hand to ankle on the same leg. Opposite arm to the knee. Opposite hand to the knee, I should say. Alternating, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. Both knees to the chest, relax that upper body. Just getting a little heat in the core before we go into our relaxation. Good. One more exercise here for deepening our core. While stretching our legs, we'll extend both legs up. Reach the hands to the ankle. Good. Now, both hands to the right ankle, release the left leg halfway to the floor, tuck the chin to the chest, lift the upper body, of course that's optional, and then alternating single straight leg stretch. You can add a couple bounces here. 1, 2, 1, 2. So it's exhale, inhale, exhale. Last one. Relax. Knees to chest. Upper body relax. Good. Let both knees fold over towards the screen. Looking in the opposite direction. Rotating through the spine. Big breaths here, noticing how things are flowing a little different than before. Good. Now using your core strength, lift the lower body off the floor. So again, glue your knees together. Lift your feet, lift your knees. Bring the knees up to the chest and then roll back into the lumbar spine. Let the knees roll over in the opposite direction. Keep the knees glued together. Let them hover for a minute, or a moment, I should say. Shift your gaze in the opposite direction and then slowly let gravity take the legs to the earth. And let the spine feel into the potential here of cleaning out some of these sticky spots along the spine. Use the breath. Gathering and collecting awareness through sensation. Notice what you notice. Give a little extra attention to where there might be some sticky spots. Where your attention goes, energy flows. We want to bring energy to some of these more resistant areas. Now draw the knees up into the chest, lift the lower body using your oblique and core strength in combination. Return to the beginning. Release your feet to the earth. Good. Tilt the pelvis back. Tilt the pelvis forward. A couple more times. Real that rocking motion on the back of the sacrum. Let the arms find their position next to the side of the torso with the palms down. Good. The next time we tilt the pelvis back, we glue the feet to the earth and send energy down through the roots of our legs into the earth as we lift. Feel the energy rising up the legs into our bridge. Keep those knees in contact with each other. They don't have to be glued together, but we don't want them splaying apart. Them hip width apart. In your bridge, you want to see energy flowing up from the legs, crossing the bridge of the torso, flowing into the heart and into the arms, back to the earth. Let the arms reach overhead. Good, and then slowly bring your spine down to the earth, one vertebrae at a time. Reaching the arms away in the opposite direction that the tailbone is leaning, and draw the knees to the chest. Good. One last hug for releasing any congestion in the lumbar spine. Really take those knees in, create little circles, or whatever feels good here for you as we prepare to go into the relaxation. Good. Now, as I mentioned, you can have a bolster if you like for under your knees, or a pillow for under your head. Find what suits your body for being able to just drop in for a couple minutes to enjoy the flow of what we've created here, the bioflow, meaning we have biological energy we're born with, which is our physical anatomy, and then we have non-physical energy that flows through our biology that actually is what gives us the capacity to move and flow and communicate and relate. And so the two combined are essential for occupying and experiencing and participating in life. So for the next moments, let's just feel into the possibility of what might want to be known, what might want to rise into awareness as we let go of needing to control, and we trust that what's been stimulated has its purpose and knows the direction that the creativity within this organism is flowing and destined for. And let's receive. Bring your attention to the breath as it moves through the arms as you raise them overhead. Bring your attention to the energy that fills the arms as you move them over the head. Bring attention to the hands and feet as you roll through the wrists and ankles. See a circular pattern emerge in the hands and feet. Draw the knees into the chest. A nice stretch for the low back. Release any compression. And go ahead and roll both knees towards me. Shift your hips away and roll onto your side. Just move momentarily. Notice how you feel, particularly your state of mind. Notice if there's been a shift in your awareness. And then begin to rise up back into this vertical plane from a horizontal plane. Draw yourself into a cross-legged seated position. That's the way. And then draw the arms up and overhead, reaching up, looking up, gathering nature's healing resources, and draw it down, guide, and direct it into the spine, into that central channel, and down through the elixir fields, into that lower dantian where we have some internal medicine that we want to honor and guide. And so see the internal medicine now moving to any part of your body that needs extra attention right now. You can physically move your hands to that area as well, but it's not necessary. You can use just your attention, your awareness, and your intention. See that energy moving from the cauldron here, the cinnabar field, another term that's been used to identify this energetic field where our internal medicine gets created. See it finding its way to the parts of the body that need it the most, and then pull it back and around to the kidneys and see the kidneys receiving what they need from this medicine, this internal intelligence. And then bring the hands up and onto the chest and see the lungs receiving what they're needing from this inner medicine. Hands over to the heart on the left side of your chest. Feeling the heart receive its dose. And then going down. On the left side is the spleen, related to stomach and digestion, and then over to the right to the liver, related to gallbladder. Good, and let's come back into the heart, bring the palms together, and again in a humble attitude of gratitude, lean forward, honor your body for showing up and participating in perhaps something that's new for you, having the courage to try something new. Namaste. Thank you for being here. I'm so curious to see how it went for you. Let's see who's here.